Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I am coming to you live from the gym at the YMCA of Greater Boston in Boston, Massachusetts. Here to bring you live coverage of today's high school varsity girls volleyball contest as part of the Independent Girls Conference Playoffs. This matchup pits the visiting Vikings of Landmark School against the hosting Newman School Cardinals. The winner of this match, I believe, goes on to the conference finals, which I think are set to take place on Thursday. The top seed in this conference tournament is the Montrose School. So assuming they win as it would be predicted on paper, then the winner of this match would be going to Montrose for that match. But if Montrose suffers an upset loss, then I believe the winner of this match will be hosting the conference finals on Thursday. Newman has had an amazing turnaround this season under the guidance of first-year head coach Samantha Schultz, going from an 0-13 mark last year to an 11-4 finish in this year's regular season. And for those of you who have seen this team in action last year versus this year, I mean, you know the difference has been night and day for this team and how they have executed in every phase of the game. You know, I only saw one of their matches last year, only got to see one of their regular season matches this year, but even in just one match from each year, you could tell just how much better this team has gotten, you know, from every step to the fundamentals, to some of the more advanced tactics. This team has grown tremendously. And this team faced Landmark earlier this season in what I believe was a September 13 matchup in Landmark out in Beverly, Massachusetts. The Cardinals came away with a sweep victory there, 3-0. And I don't think they have faced the Vikings since then. So the Vikings will be looking for payback here. Unfortunately, I do not have the Vikings roster, so I'm just going to be narrating by jersey number. But if there are any Landmark Vikings fans in the live chat and you want to, fill me in on any names, then I encourage you to do so. I'm always happy to have more information. But I do have information on the roster for the Newman School Cardinals, who we just saw finishing their warm-ups. They're now huddled up over in the corner there in their red jerseys with white jersey numbers. So now let's read out the roster for Newman. Going in order of jersey number for the Cardinals, first off, we have number 1, Charlotte Irwin. Next, we have number 2, Callahan Brown. Number 3, Fede Lopez. Number 4, Ruby Romer. Number 5, Beatriz Poggy Rupnick. Number 7, Addie Gordon. Number 9, Abby Mustafai. Number 12, Annabelle Pointer. Number 15, Maddie Parker. And number 16, Alice Francischet. Head coach of the Newman High girls volleyball team is Samantha Schultz, with assistant coach / athletic director Colin Richardson. So there's the roster for Newman, as we see the Vikings warming up in their dark blue jerseys with yellow jersey numbers. And like I said, if anyone wants to offer me any roster corrections or any name pronunciation corrections or any names for players I don't have, I encourage you to do so in the live chat. Plenty of other great reasons you can participate in the live chat. If you just want to say go Newman or go Landmark, no matter who you're rooting for, we appreciate fans bringing the good vibes and the support in the live chat. If you want to shout out a specific player, I highly encourage that. Maybe you're tuning in to watch a family member or a friend. You want to give them a shout out. I encourage you to do so. If you want to let us know where you're tuning in from, that's always fun. You know, with these online live streams that can be watched all over the world, it's always fun to find out the folks tuning in from different states, even different countries sometimes. So if you're tuning in from far away, let us know. That's a fun thing to add to the broadcast. And, of course, if you notice any technical difficulties going on with the live stream, either with the video or the audio, then I encourage you to say something in the live chat. You know, this is a relatively small gym, so I've planted myself in the corner here, so it's a bit of an unconventional view, although pretty similar to the view I had the last time I covered Newman volleyball in their match against Chapel Hill a couple weeks back. Of course, Newman won that one 3-1, so they'll be looking for more good results today as they hope to cement a spot in the conference championship game. Newman, I believe, was the second seed in the playoffs, and as such, they got a bye through the first round, as did first-seeded Montrose. Landmark defeated Chapel Hill Chauncey Hall in the first round of the playoffs to earn their spot in this semifinal match. And we'll see how these two teams play out. We're going to get started very soon, it sounds like, as the Vikings wrap up their warm-ups. Newman getting ready to do the last of their warm-ups, looks like. And we are slated for a 3:30 p.m. start time. Just testing something really quick. Okay, sorry, I was just testing the instant replay function. Appears to be functioning well. All systems look to be a go right now. Out here at the YMCA of Greater Boston on Huntington Avenue in Boston, Massachusetts. And I specify that so much because there are a number of YMCAs here in the Boston area. And in fact, I think there's more than one YMCA of Greater Boston, just to make things perfectly confusing. All right, warm-ups are finished, and we will soon be getting this contest underway. Guys might have seen the camera shake a few times while the warm-ups were happening. You know, hopefully while the ball is in play, we'll, keep those collisions with the tripod to a minimum. Here come the pre-game handshakes. And we're about ready to get this one underway. Newman sending out a starting 6 featuring number 3, Fede Lopez, number 4, Ruby Romer, number 1, Charlotte Irwin, number 5, Beatriz Poggi Rupnik, number 9, Abby Mustafi, and number 12, Annabelle Pointer. For the Vikings, as I said, we're just going to have to narrate by jersey number, so we'll do best we can here. But we're going to get started here in the first of this best-of-5 match. And here we go. Opening serve from Fede Lopez is received, and they couldn't push it over. Newman takes the first point as Landmark couldn't string their 3 hits together properly. It's a 1-0 lead in this first to 25 win by 2 set. Another serve from Lopez. That one misses. That one missed just long and wide from Lopez. Now on serve, I believe, is number 40 for Landmark. And here comes the serve, and that's going to miss wide. And the serve goes right back to the Cardinals. Now on serve is number 12, Annabelle Pointer. As subbing in is number 2, Callahan Brown. Serve is up. It's received, followed up, and tapped over by 12. Received by Mustafi, set by Romer. Mustafi whiffs on the roll shot. And it goes right back to Landmark at 2 apiece. Number 17 on serve for the Vikings. Serve, diving, receive, followed up by Lopez and bumped over by Pointer after the initial receive by Mustafi. Now it's going to be sent over on 2. Mustafi sends it right back. Abby Mustafi with the first kill of the day. As you see, she just tapped the one right back, perfectly placed into no man's land there. Whoops, I hit the wrong thing. There we go. Serve from Rupnik, received by 1, tapped by 40, and bumped over by 12, received by Pointer, set by Romer, spiked by Brown. Diving receive is followed up, bumped over by 28. Diving dig from Lopez, bumped by Romer, and Mustafi, the roll shot, received by 12, set by 1. Backhand tap is sent right back by Mustafi. Now Mustafi receives it, set by Romer. Mustafi winds and fires. Diving receive once again as the rally continues. It's desperately bumped over, received by Romer, set up by Brown, pushed over by Mustafi, taken by 17, set by 1, and we got an illegal double hit. 4-2 the score in favor of Newman. Rupnik back on serve. And that's our first ace. Beatriz Poggi-Rupnik with the first ace of the day as it just went off the side of the hands of the receiver. Another serve, received by 40, followed up by 1, but not followed up well, and they couldn't get it over in 3 hits. This serve received by 40, followed up by 1. Spike off the net court, but received by Rupnik. Set by Romer. Spike from Brown is going to sail long and wide. Landmark back on serve, trailing by 3. It's going to be number 12 on the serve. Underhand serve comes in, received by Pointer. Set by Romer. Tap over by Brown, dug out by 17, and now bumped over by 39. Taken by Lopez, set by Romer. Spike Rupnik. Drops on the back line. Well placed by Rupnik. As we look at that one again, just very well placed there. Serve from Mustafa, an ace. Abby Mustafa with her first ace of the day as it went. As you can see, it was a little higher than the receiver expected. This serve received cleanly by 40, set by 1, but set illegally. The double hit gives Newman another point. 9-3 the score, and we got a timeout called. 9-3, Newman leads Landmark. They've gotten 4 points off of offensive scores, 1 kill and 1 ace each from Beatriz Poggi-Rupnik and Abby Mustafa. So Newman off to a very solid start, but you know, this is a game where a lot of points have to be scored, and a team can really turn the corner like that. We saw that in the CHCH match a couple weeks ago. Newman seemed to be flying through the first 2 sets, but CHCH was getting gradually better and ended up taking the 3rd set to prevent the sweep. Newman still collected themselves and took it in 4, but that just shows you got to always be wary of your opponent. Mustafa back on serve. This one received by 12 and sent over on 1. Received by Rupnik, set by Romer. Brown taps it over, well placed. Callahan Brown with her first kill. And that serve just going to go off the side of the hand wide. 10-4 now. This serve received by Pointer, set by Romer. Lopez taps it, but it's dug out by 40 and sent back right over. Okay, they keep sending it back and forth. Newman trying to keep it alive, and somehow they do. It's tapped right back by 39, but received by Rupnik, followed up by Mustafa, desperately bumped over by Brown, and they keep it alive. It's sent right back, received by Mustafa, sent over on 2 by Romer, but they call the double hit on Romer. Oh, that is tough. Ruby Romer went for the on-2 sneak attack, but was called for the double hit. Number 1, the serve, received by Brown, set by Romer. Spike Lopez right through for the kill. Fede Lopez with her first kill of the day. Now Newman takes over on serve. It is number 16, Alice Francis-Chet. Serve, dug out, but sent over on one. Received by Rupnik, set by Romer, but they blow the whistle. Romer might have touched the net that time as the initial hit very close to the net. 11-6 as number 1, Charlotte Irwin back into the game, replacing Alice Francis-Chet. It's an 11-6 lead for the Cardinals. 28 on serve. Dug out and sent over on one, sent back on one, now received by Irwin, set by Romer. Pointer winds and fires. First kill of the day for Annabelle Pointer. Makes it 12-6. Powerful shot right down Broadway. Serve from Romer, received, and they send it over. Received by Irwin, set by Romer. Spike Rupnik, dug out, spiked back by Pointer, received by 12, but it goes off the ceiling. The error off the ceiling. Romer's hit, received by 39, set by 40, spike 39 was missed. Oops. Serve from Romer, this one curves wide. 14-7, the Newman lead as Landmark goes back on serve with number 25. Serve comes in shallow. Lopez dives for it, followed up by Pointer, pushed over by Mustafi. Received by 40, set by 12, spike 17, received by Romer, set by Pointer. Rupnik whiffed on the spike, and that will be a point for the Vikings. (14-8). Serve into the net this time. We cycle back around to Fede Lopez. Serve, sent back on one, received by Lopez, set by Romer. Rupnik, dug out by the libero, but couldn't be followed up. Miscommunication on the second hit gives Newman their 16th point of the set. Remember, this is first to 25, win by 2. Serve Lopez, received awkwardly, and they could not get it over in 3 hits. Serve, sent back on one and drops in perfectly. The powerful serve ends up backfiring on Newman in a way. as the receive sent to the back corner on 1. Serve from 40, received by Mustafi, set by Romer. Mustafi, the roll shot, taken by 12, set by 1. 17 spikes it, dug out, but could not be kept alive. Oh wait, we're still going. Pointer now the spike. And the point does go to Landmark. As it hit the pole, there was a late call, is what happened. I got kind of confused. Serve received by Mustafi, set by Romer, bumped over by Rupnik. Received by 40, set by 1. 17 the spike, received by Romer. Bumped by Irwin and bumped over by Rupnik. Received by 23, set by 1. 17 couldn't get it over this time. 18-10 now the scores. We got a sub checking in for Newman. Number 2, Callahan Brown back in, replacing Charlotte Irwin as Annabelle Pointer goes on serve for the Cardinals. Serve could not be dug out. Annabelle Pointer with her first ace of the day. As you can see, it had just a quick drop. The serve, received by 39, followed up by 1, bumped over by 12. Received by Mustafi, set by Romer. Rupnik, the spike, received by 23 and sent over on 1. Received by Brown, set by Romer. Brown taps it over, received by 1, sent over on 2, and 17 gonna get the kill on 2. (19-11). 17 on serve for the Vikings. Serve goes wide. Newman reaches the 20-point threshold. They are now 5 points away from taking the first set. Rupnik's serve. Received by 17, set by 40, bumped over by 12. Received by Romer, bumped by Brown, pushed over by Mustafi, but not legally. She committed the double hit, and Landmark gets the point. Underhand serve taken by Lopez, sent over on 2 by Romer, but 39 recovers it. Battle at the net. They give the point to Newman. I think it was just a question of who touched the net first on that one, and I guess it was Landmark. 21-12. Serve now from Mustafi, received by 28, followed up by 40, bumped over by 28, and it drops into no man's land for the kill. Now subbing in for Newman for the first time is number 7, Addie Gordon, replacing Abby Mustafi. Serve from 1, received by Rupnik, set by Romer. A roll shot by Brown is received, followed up by 40, bumped by 28, and it drops in again. 28 with back-to-back kills off an over-the-head bump. You don't see that a lot, but she's, sending him just narrowly over the net. Number 1, the serve, received by Gordon, set by Romer, tapped over by Brown, received by 40, followed up 39, tap over by 28, received by Brown, bumped by Romer. Rupnik, nice roll shot over the blockers, but it's received by 17, followed up by 40, spike 39, could not be received cleanly as it came in kind of high, and that is 3 straight kills for the Vikings. Landmark starting to close the gap here, 21-15. Serve from one, hits the net. So Newman gets a bit of a break there as Landmark's streak of points ends with a service error. Subbing back in for Newman, number 16, Alice Francis-Chet. She replaces Callahan Brown to go on serve. Serve received by 39, sent over on 2, but received well. Set by Romer, spike pointer deflected and received by 12. Set by 40, 28 sends it over. Received by Gordon, sent over just barely by Pointer. Received by 1, set by 40, spike 39. Could it be dug out? No, it could not. A valiant effort by Gordon, but it could not be followed up for a second hit. 22-16, and Charlotte Irwin back into the game, replacing Francis-Chet. .28 serve, received by Rupnik, set by Romer, spike Pointer, received by 12, spiked back by Pointer off the net cord, and they send it back on 2, received by Gordon, set by Romer, Pointer barely punches it over, received, set by 40, spike 39, dug out, set by Romer, spike Pointer sails long. Landmark cuts the deficit back down to 5, 22-17. 28 serve, received awkwardly by Rupnik, but followed up by Gordon. Desperately bumped over, and they do get it over. 17 receives, set by 39, spike 17. Received well, set by Romer, spike Rupnik. Received by 12, but not well. Another kill for Beatriz Poggi-Rupnik, her second of this first set. 23-17. Romer, the serve, received awkwardly, but followed up by 12 off of the backboard of one of the raised basketball hoops. Newman now at set point, 24-17. Romer serve, received by 1, tapped over on 2 by 40, received by Gordon, followed up by Romer, bumped over by Lopez, received by 1, set by 40. Oh, but 40 ran into the net, and that's going to end the set. The set ends on a player running into the net, and now Newman takes the 1-0 set lead. 25-17, the final score, as the Cardinals go up 1-0 in this best-of-5 first-to-3 sets match. Unofficial stats I had for the first set for Newman: 2 kills and 1 ace each from Annabelle Pointer and Beatriz Poggi-Rupnik. 1 kill and 1 ace from Abby Mustafi, and 1 kill each from Callahan Brown and Fede Lopez. So Newman kept the lead throughout that entire set, but give credit to Landmark. They cut it close at a couple of points in that set, never really let Newman pull away for any kind of blowout score. Anything could happen in the next set. It's better stay tuned. All right, here we go. Start of the second set. Newman up 1-0. Landmark to get first serve. Number 42, start us off. Brief discussion, and now we're ready to go. Serve from 40 is received by Lopez, but a little too close to the net, and Landmark takes the first point. This serve is received well by Irwin, set by Romer. Spike Mustafa off the net cord for the kill. Check out the instant replay as Abby Mustafa wound up for what looked to be a big shot, but then ended up going off the net cord. Pointer now on serve, received by 40. Bumped by 1 and bumped over by 12. Diving dig from Lopez, and Romer couldn't properly set it from that low, and she's called for the illegal hit. '17 serve is received, followed up by Romer. Spike Rupnick is blocked by 28. Landmark off to a hot start here in the second set. They're up 3-1. '17 serve received by Mustafa, set by Romer. Mustafa mistimed on the pass that time, and they couldn't get it over. '17 serve received by Pointer, followed up awkwardly by Romer. Mustafa just has to desperately bump it over. Received by 39, set by 1. Spike 28, straight down the middle for the kill. Landmark putting the ball in all the right places. Newman seeming to put the ball in all the wrong places early here in the second set. Serve from 17. Diving dig off the net, kept alive desperately by Romer, sent back by 28, received Pointer, set Romer, spike by Mustafa, dug out by 39, bumped over on 2 by 28, received by Lopez, set by Romer. Brown, the roll shot, wide. And a timeout is called. It's been a rough start for Newman here in the second set. Their service receives flying too close or too far away, not setting up properly for a string of hits. And when they are setting up, they're miscommunicating. Things just a little out of sync. Definitely a good time for a timeout. All right, out of the timeout we come. Number 17 still on serve for Landmark. They're on a 5-0 run. The serve received awkwardly by Mustafa, but followed up by Rupnick. Bumped over by Brown. And it sails just long. Decided to watch at the last second. Good watch by 39 and a good assistance from their teammates. As 17 serve misses. And Newman gets a chance to go back on serve themselves. Rupnik on serve. And it goes right through everybody for an ace. Second ace of the day for Rupnik. This serve couldn't be received properly. Back-to-back aces. Three aces on the day now for Rupnik. This one received by 39, and they couldn't follow it up. Beatriz Poggy Rupnik instantly getting her team back in this one. That's her off the net cord, 40. Somehow followed up by 28, but dug out by Romer. Sent over on 2 by Brown. Received by 39. Followed up by 1. Bumped over by 28. Received by Lopez. Set by Romer. Rupnik couldn't get it over. Landmark just did everything they could to stay in that point off another great serve from Rupnik. And that was all they needed to prevail in the rally. Serve into the net from 3. Score is 8-6 in favor of the Vikings. Abby Mustafi now going on serve. Serve received by 39, set by 1. Spike 39, well placed for the kill. Serve from 1, received and sent over on 1, sent back by 28, received by Brown, set by Rupnik, bumped over by Romer, sent right back by 28, dug out by Mustafi, now bumped over by Rupnik, and Rupnik gets the bump kill. You know, sometimes just get things over the net and good things happen. Get it between two opposing players, and they end up just kind of staring at each other. Serve from Francis Chet, drops in perfectly in no man's land for the ace. Another serve, this one into the net. Newman staying right on Landmark's heels, but they still trail 10-8. .28 serve off the net cord, but they keep it alive, but they can't finish the sequence. Some confusion over the third hit there. Now 11-8. The serve could not be dug out. An ace for number 28. This serve is going to sail long. So Newman goes back on serve, but they trail by 3. Romer on serve now for the Cardinals. Received awkwardly by 23, too awkwardly. Call that an ace for Ruby Romer, her first one today. Another serve received, set by 40, but set illegally. Couple strong serves from Ruby Romer have Newman back within 2 at 12-10. This serve received by 1, set by 40, sent over by 39, received awkwardly by Mustafi, followed up by Romer, and the spike from Lopez goes into the net. Oops, looks like I miscounted the points. It is 13-11. This serve from 39 received awkwardly, and they couldn't follow it up. It goes off the backboard. 14-11, the Vikings lead. Serve 39, received by Pointer, followed up by Romer. Spike Rupnik, received awkwardly, and they could not follow it up. Nice spike from Rupnik. That might not meet the exact definition for a kill, but still a very powerful spike that made it very difficult for Landmark to try and get that one over. Serve Lopez, and it goes off the hands of 23 for an ace. Not sure if I caught that one properly, but you can kind of see it just went through her hands. First ace of the day for Fede Lopez. This serve received by 23, but it's going to go off the ceiling. They tie it up off the ceiling glitch. This serve received by 17, set by 28, but miscommunication on the third hit. Newman takes the lead. Lopez serve taken awkwardly by 28, followed up by 12. Both ceiling glitches, they recover. Taken by Lopez, set by Romer. Spike Pointer, dug out by 28 and followed up by 1, but she can't follow that up herself. And so the point goes to Newman off another ricochet off the ceiling. Unfortunately, this is just what you have to deal with in volleyball. In any gym, you're going to have pipes and basketball hoops to play around. Serve Lopez, and they watch it. Caught him staring at the in-between spot, and it's another ace for Fede Lopez. Her third so far. This serve received by 1, set by 40. Spike 17 received awkwardly by Lopez. As 17 gets the kill there, 17-15. Newman has recaptured the lead, but Landmark's not going down without a fight. We got ourselves a tight set here in the second set. We cycle back around to 40 on serve. It's received by Mustafi. And it was too close to the net. Might have been tapped back down, but he might not have gone over on its own anyhow. Now 17-16. But next serve goes into the net. Newman back on serve. They lead by 2. Sub checking in for Newman, number 2, Callahan Brown, replacing Charlotte Irwin. Serve from Pointer, received by 39, set by 17, bumped over, And sent back on one by Brown, sent back on one by 12, received by Rupnik, set by Romer, spike Rupnik, received by 23, sent over on two by 17, received awkwardly by Lopez, followed up by Romer, roll shot by Brown, received by one, sent over on two by 17, received by Romer, set by Mustafi, bumped over by Rupnik, received by 39, set by one, and 17 whiffed on the left-handed attempt, and Newman takes it in the rally. Pointer's serve, received low by 40, followed up by 17, and they could not follow through with the third hit as two were going after it. Couple of big points for Newman as Landmark calls timeout. Most of the time in volleyball, the first team to reach 20 points will end up taking the set. It's just a pretty big milestone to reach within an individual set to get to the 20-point threshold. But while Newman needs just 5 more points to win, Landmark needs just 4 more points to tie. So Newman's got the edge, make no mistake, but Landmark right on their heels. But how about the serving from Fede Lopez during a crucial stretch? 3 aces to add to the 1 kill she had in the first set. And it came at a very critical juncture as Newman was able to flip the script and take the lead after Landmark held the advantage for most of this second set. Unofficial stats at this point in the match, what I have is 3 kills and 3 aces for Beatriz Poggi Rupnik, 1 kill and 3 aces for Fede Lopez, 2 kills and 1 ace each for Abby Mustafi and Annabelle Pointer, 1 kill from Callahan Brown, and 1 ace each from Ruby Romer and Alice Francischet. Again, these are unofficial stats, as stats in volleyball rely a lot on the judgment of the stat keeper, more so than a lot of other stats in other sports. So, you know, I might be 1 or 2 off on some things from what the official stats will be when all is said and done. Serve from Pointer, received by 40, couldn't be followed up, it goes off the net. I think we can call that one an ace. It's a little close, but 21-16 the score. This serve received by 39, bumped by 1, sent over by 17, received awkwardly twice off one arm, but somehow bumped over by Romer, sent right back by 17, received desperately by Lopez, followed up by Romer, roll shot from Mustafi, dug out by 39, followed up by 12, bumped over by 23, received by Brown, followed up on the bump by Romer, and a roll shot from Lopez for the kill. Lopez with a long spike, but ended up at a weird height that they could not receive it right. Her second kill of the match makes it 22-16. Pointer's serve received by 25, bumped by 1, and they lost it. A couple of Landmark players just kind of bumped into each other, and that messed up the sequence for the third hit. This serve received by 39 and over on 1, sent back over on 1 by Rupnik, received desperately by 39, sent over on 2 by 17, taken by Romer, bumped up by Brown, and Romer sends it into the net. 23-17, now the score. '17 serve dug out desperately and sent over on 1, but it's sent wide. An ace for 17. Her serving is what got Landmark their early lead. Is she going to lead them on a comeback here? Number 3 checks in, replacing number 12. Serve, received by Mustafi, bumped by Romer. Mustafi, the roll shot, received by 17, set by 1. Spike 28, hits the back line. Very close, but a good hit from 28 right to the border. Makes it 23-19. Serve from 17 drops in no man's land for the ace. Once again, number 17 leading Landmark on a string of service points. They've cut the deficit in half. Another serve received by Mustafi, followed up by a roamer. Rupnik misses wide. Landmark has cut this down to a 2-point set, and Newman calls timeout. Once again, the serves from 17 giving Newman fits. They're not the most powerful serves. They're not the most deeply hit, and she's just hitting them off a standing position. But it just goes to show there's a lot of different ways you can succeed in your service game in volleyball. And one of them is what 17 is doing, which is just placing them in very awkward spots. And so Newman, in position for more conventional serve trajectories, gets thrown off, and they're not able to do what they want to do on their service receive. So 23-21, Newman 2 points away from taking this second set, but Landmark just 2 points away from tying it up. And if they tie it up, it'll be a win by 2 scenario. It will effectively be at deuce like we're in tennis. '17 serve received by Pointer, set by Romer. Rupnik taps it, gets past the blocker, but it's received by 1. Pushed back by Mustafi, received by 39, set by 1. Spike 28 off the net cord, received by Pointer, followed up by Romer. And Lopez tried to run in, but traffic was too much, and she couldn't get the awkward left-handed hit. It is a 1-point set now. Very critical point coming up here. Serve up and over, received awkwardly, and pushed over by Brown. Received by 17, set by 1. Spike 28, sails long. Newman catches a big break there, and they are now at set point. But Landmark still right on their heels, 24-22. Beatriz Poggi-Rupnik serving for the set. Serve received too awkwardly. She ends it with the ace. Beatriz Poggi-Rupnik comes through huge as she sent one at an awkward height, and her 4th ace of the match thus far gives Newman the 2-0 lead. 25-22, the final score of set number 2. Very, very close second set there. And you can tell Landmark just is getting closer with each set. So Newman has got to be careful. They got to adjust and figure out how to receive some of the more awkwardly placed serves from Landmark so they don't end up digging a hole for themselves like they did in that second set. Unofficial stats so far, Beatriz Poggi-Rupnik with 3 kills and 4 aces, leading the team in both categories thus far. Fede Lopez not far behind, 2 kills, 3 aces. Annabelle Pointer, 2 kills, 2 aces. Abby Mustafi, 2 kills, 1 ace. 1 kill for Callahan Brown. And 1 ace each for Ruby Romer and Alice Francis Chet. So Newman on the cusp of a potential sweep win. Remember, it is first to 3 sets, best of 5. So if Newman wins this set, they take the match. But if Landmark wins this set, we go to a 4th set. And then, of course, don't know what happened there. That was weird. Sorry about that. So if we go to a 4th set, if Landmark takes a set, we go to a 4th set. Then if Newman wins the 4th set, they win the match because, again, they'll have 3 total sets. But if Landmark manages to win the 3rd and 4th set, then we would go to a 5th set. That would be first to 15, win by 2 to decide it all. But for now, still first to 25, win by 2. Newman will be opening the serves here in the 3rd set. Serve from Lopez, received by 28, followed up by 1. Tap down by 28, but received by Mustafi. Followed up by Romer. Roll shot, Rupnik. Could not be followed up. I think we can call that one a kill. Very well placed from Beatriz Poggi Rupnik, her 4th kill of the match so far. Serve into the net this time. And Landmark ties us up at 1. Number 1, the serve received by Lopez. Bumped by Romer and could not be punched over. Seemed to be some miscommunication, maybe a mishit on that second pass, as Pointer just had to kind of rush in and desperately try and get that one over, and she couldn't. Serve, received by Mustafi, bumped by Romer. Long spike, Lopez deflected and dug out, followed up desperately, and they could not string it together. The slight deflection from the blocker actually ended up hurting Landmark in that case. You know, it's kind of like in, you know, soccer or hockey when a ball deflects off a defender and past the goalie. 2-2. Pointer serve, drops in. Annabelle Pointer with her 3rd ace of the match, as that one just dropped in the middle of no man's land right by the sideline. Serve up and over, and another ace for Pointer. This serve received by 3, sent over on 2 by 28, but received by Pointer. Set by Romer, bumped over by Mustafi, but kind of sliced it and it flies wide. 4-3 the score. 28 on serve for the Vikings. Serve received by Rupnik, bumped up by Romer, spike Rupnik. Drops on the back line. Beatriz Poggi Rupnik now 5 kills today. What a day for Rupnik. Her 5th ace to go with 5 kills. And that one desperately gotten over, and Rupnik mishits it. It was another strong serve, but when it got over, just kind of misjudged where the ball was going. 6-4, 39 on serve for the Vikings. Serve taken by Lopez off the ceiling, but Romer tracks it. Desperately bumped over by Pointer. Received, set by 40. 17 the spike. Taken by Lopez. Set by Romer. Spike Rupnik, dug out by 39 and sent over on 1. Received by Romer, followed up by Pointer. Roll shot from Mustafa, received awkwardly by 17. Chased down by 1. And 25 could not bump it over. Seven to 4, the Newman lead. Mustafa now on serve. Serve received by 1, set by 40. Spike 17, dug out by Mustafa. Set by Romer. Callahan Brown taps it over. Chased down by 40, sent over on 2 by 17. Taken by Brown, bumped by Romer. A roll shot from Brown, received by 28, set by 40. Another spike from 17, received by Pointer. Set by Romer. Lopez, the spike, taken by 28, set by 40. 17 taps it over, received by Brown, chased down by Romer, spiked over by Lopez, dug out by 17, followed up by 39, bumped over by 25, taken by Mustafa, set by Romer. Brown, another tap over, received by 28, sent over on 1, taken by Pointer, set by Romer, spike Lopez. Lopez to the corner, missed wide. Newman appealing on that one, but that's not an appeal they're going to win. Brilliant rally, but Lopez missed just a bit on what looked to be a great cross-court spike. 7 to 5, the Newman lead. 40 on serve. Serve received awkwardly by Pointer. Followed up awkwardly by Rupnik and could not be bumped over on 3. Seven to 6. Serve received by Pointer, set by Romer. Spike Lopez, no question that time. Lopez with the no-doubter after that last one was sent wide. She said, okay, I'm not leaving any questions for this one, as she collects her 3rd kill so far in the match. Serve Francis Chet, received by 28, followed up by 1. Miscommunication. Nine to 6. Now the serve from Francis Chet, barely dug out by 39, received by Rupnik, set by Romer, spike Pointer off the net cord. Make it 3 kills on the day so far for Annabelle Pointer. Another serve from Francis Chet, received awkwardly by 39, chased down by 1, tapped over by 17, received awkwardly by Pointer, and boy, that got chaotic in the attempt to figure that one out. Fortunately, everybody seems to be okay, but that will be a point for Landmark. 10-7 as Charlotte Irwin checks back in, replacing Francis Chet. Serve from 17, dug out and could not be, followed up. Watch out, 17's back on serve. We saw the fits that she gave the Newman defense last set. But this time, her serve drops under the net. Oops, I sent the point the wrong way. There we go. 11-8, the Newman lead as they go back on serve. Off an ice break there. Romer's serve, received by 23, sent over on 2 by 1. received awkwardly by Lopez, followed up by Mustafi, bumped over desperately by Pointer, received awkwardly by 40, chased down by 1, bumped over by 23, received Mustafi, set by Romer. Rupnik, too far. (11-9), as we've got ourselves another close set. Number 3 on serve for the Vikings. Serve received by Lopez, followed up by Romer. Rupnik taps it over, received well by 28, and then she taps it over, and they could not follow up the first hit. Number 28 able to deflect the initial hit off the net cord, and then after 39 set her up. She went for almost a backhanded spike that ended up working out well. Received there by Mustafi, set by Romer. Spike Pointer sails. Newman getting a little overly aggressive with some of their hits, looking for some home run balls, but now they've got a tied set, 11-all. Serve received awkwardly by Mustafi, but followed up well by Irwin. Bumped over by Rupnik, received by 23. Bumped by 1 off the net cord and over, received by Pointer, set by Romer. Pointer the spike, received by 23. Bumped by 1, 39 the spike. Landmark goes up 12-11. And a timeout is called by Newman. Boy, what a thrilling match this has been so far. You know, the first set, 25-17. Newman stayed in the lead for most of the time, but Landmark never really let them pull away until the very end. And then the second set, again, very close. Actually, Landmark led for a large chunk of it, but then Newman pulled off a comeback right when they needed to, and then managed to barely fend off Landmark's comeback attempt right at the end to pull out the win, 25-22. Now here in this one, Newman takes the early lead, and it's Landmark coming back and starting to gain momentum here. 12-11, the Vikings lead here in the third set. And remember, folks, if you know any fans that you think aren't able to make it to this game and want to be able to watch, be sure to share the link to this stream with them. Things heating up on the court here at the YMCA on Huntington Ave. Out of the timeout, serve from 3, received by Mustafi, bump by Romer, spike Pointer, received by 23, but it's off the ceiling, chased down by 39, and bumped over by 40, but wide. Newman ties it up right out of the timeout. And now Lopez on serve. Serve up and over, received by 23, set by 39, bumped over by 28, received by Romer, set by Pointer, bumped over by Rupnik, taken by 40, bumped by 39, backhand spike by 28, dug out by diving Rupnik, but oh, everyone was going for that ball, and so everyone stopped. Landmark retakes the lead, 13-12. Serve from 1, right into the net. And so Newman gets the tie point given to him there, and now Pointer going on serve. Serve. Another ace, and a huge one for Annabelle Pointer. That is her 5th ace of the match thus far, and couldn't have come at a more critical juncture. This serve Received by 28, chased down by 40. Spike 28 off the net cord, but received by Brown, set by Mustafi. Rupnik the spike, could not be blocked. Newman finding ways to score here as Beatriz Poggy Rupnik gets her team-leading 6th kill of the match so far. Pointer the serve, received, followed up by 12, bumped over by 40, diving dig by Lopez, received by 23. Oh my goodness! Lopez gets the kill off the diving dig. Just misread by the receiver there, and it went sideways to a place where no one could get it. Serve Pointer received, set by 40, spike 39, received awkwardly but dug out on the second hit by Romer, and the bump over goes wide. So Newman gets a string of critical points to go back up, but Landmark back on serve, trailing by just 2. Serve 28, awkwardly taken by Mustafi, but followed up well by Romer. Roll shot Brown, received by 28, followed up 40, bumped over by 39. Received by Lopez, set by Romer. Spike Brown, taken awkwardly but chased down by 1, punched over by 17. Received by Pointer, set by Romer. Mustafi the spike, taken by 17, set by 40. Spike 39, dug out by Pointer, bumped by Romer. Mustafi again, this time received by 40, sent not over. It was close to the net. 17 tried to get it with a left-hander and could not. 17-14, the Newman lead as Rupnik goes on serve. Serve taken by 1, set by 39, spike 40, received awkwardly by Rupnik, sent over on 1, received by 39. Now spike 39 is whiffed. A rare miss on a spike by number 39, who's been delivering some powerful shots all day. And now Newman up 18-14. Serve Rupnik, received awkwardly, but followed up well by 39. Spike 40, goes long. Newman finding their momentum in the late stages of this third set. They lead by 5. Rupnik the serve, an ace! 6 aces on the day for Beatriz Poggy Rupnik, and Newman's got 20. Another serve, received, followed up by 40, bumped over the net cord, but received, spiked back by 39, missed it long. Good read around the middle again off the net cord by Callahan Brown. She's had a couple of good reads from that spot. 21-14. Rupnik sends it up and over, received by 23, sent over on 2 by 39, and that time it drops in for a kill. (21-15), the Newman lead here in set number 3. 39 with the serve, received by Lopez, chased down awkwardly by Romer and bumped over by Brown, received by 39, set by 40, spike 17, received by Pointer, set by Romer. Rupnik the long spike, and it's somehow followed up and bumped over by 39, chased down by Pointer, bumped by Romer. Mustafi sends it wide. (21-16). Serve 39, sails long. Another error from the Vikings, and now Newman 3 points away from the conference finals. Mustafai's serve, received by 39, set by 40, spike 17, could not be dug out. Landmark is not backing down, 22-17 the score, as we've got a first-time sub coming in for Newman. This is number 15, Maddie Parker, replacing Abby Mustafai. Serve from 40, received by Pointer, set by Romer. Lopez into the net. We saw Landmark string together some points at the end in the second set to make things close. They currently trail Newman by 4. Serve 40, drops in for an ace right on the sideline. 22-19. Newman 3 points away from winning, but Landmark 3 points away from tying. But the serve goes under. And now Newman just 2 points away. Alice Francis-Chet checks in to take the serve. Serve up and over, received by 23, followed up by 1. Bumped over by 17, dug out barely by Rupnik. Taken by 39, set by 1, spiked 17, could not be blocked by Pointer. And Landmark gets the point. On serve 17. Serve comes in, received cleanly. Set, oh, illegally, the double hit called on Romer. 23-21. This serve received by Lopez, sent over on 1, sent back on 1. Awkwardly received by Rupnik, bumped by Romer. Pointer, the spike. Received by 39, set by 1, spike 28, received by Parker, set by Romer. Rupnik the spike, received by 40, and they couldn't follow it up on the second hit. Match point for the Cardinals. Ruby Romer serving now for the match. Up and over, could not be taken. They ended on the ace. Ruby Romer sends the Cardinals to the conference finals. Serve just came into no man's land, could not be dug out. It sailed way long. And the ace from Ruby Romer ends the match. The final score, Newman 3 sets, Landmark none. Final set scores 25-17, 25-22, and 25-21. The Newman School Cardinals, who went winless just 1 year ago, are now headed to the Independent Girls Conference Finals. What an amazing effort and what an amazing season from this team as they continue to march on. Unofficial individual stats for this game. For Newman, I have Beatriz Poggy Rupnik with 6 kills and 6 aces. Annabelle Pointer with 3 kills and 5 aces. Fede Lopez, 4 kills, 3 aces. Abby Mustafai, 2 kills, 1 ace. Ruby Romer with 2 aces, including the match winner. 1 kill from Callahan Brown and 1 ace from Alice Francis-Chet. At the same time, I want to make sure we give some credit to Landmark because they gave a heck of a fight. You know, no set really felt like a blowout. You know, the closest to a blowout was the first set, and Newman only won that set by 8. And at several points late in the match, Landmark had them within 5 points or closer. Newman just came through with the points they needed in the final stages of the set to take that first one. Then in the second one, Landmark actually led for a large chunk of that second set, but Newman came through with a big comeback in the middle to late stages of the set, took the lead when they needed to, and then when Landmark started to come back on them late in the set, Newman had enough of a cushion that they were able to collect themselves and get the last few points they needed to win that second set. And then the third set, really sort of a seesaw back and forth, probably, the one where we had the smallest leads throughout. And again, Landmark started, was right on their heels, really, right up until the end. But Newman, again, got the points when they needed them, finished strong in every single set. And that's a big difference maker between a team that can compete and a team that can win, is your ability to finish when it matters in the late stages of the sets. So hats off to both teams, but ultimate congratulations to the Newman Cardinals. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in today. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Remember, if you enjoyed this live stream, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all my upcoming sports live streams. If there's anything you'd like to say after the live stream is concluded, you can say it in the comment section down below. You can also go down below to the description section or just check out the bottom right corner of your screen for some more information about me. URL to my personal website, jessesports.com. You can find out more about me, the freelance sports broadcasting services that I provide to various teams, and how you can commission those services for your favorite team. If you want to skip past all that and just contact me directly, you can send me an email. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, where I post highlights from previous live streams. But for this live stream, that is going to do it. The Cardinals celebrate and move on to the conference finals. The final score, Newman 3 sets, Landmark 0. Set scores 25-17, 25-22, and 25-21. From the YMCA of Greater Boston on Huntington Avenue in Boston, Massachusetts, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Thank you all for watching, and have a good night.